Nice, Peter.
Better start line.
There we go.
Swing.
So for you to pick up close to 50 yards in carry there, you know, is massive. That's your original carry of yours was 153, and that there was 201. All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Absolutely delighted to have another guest with us in the studio this week, Michael. 2 in 2 weeks.
Yep.
We love it when we get to have our clients come in and sort of experience the fitting and obviously be on the channel where you guys can meet them. Today we have Mr. Peter Wilson, a returning customer. Peter, you were with us in 2018, got some nice Mizuno irons. You were telling me there, you were reminding me, we had just sort of opened, I think, this location, and you worked with one of our new kind of staff members at that point. So we're going to kind of dive back into the bag.
That was a great experience. He took lots of time with me. We tried different clubs and ended up with the Mizunos. And it took a little while for me to get used to them, but they're still in my bag 6 years later. And that is not the part of my bag that I can say I need a lot of improvement. They're great clubs, still good for me.
Good, good. And you said that when we kind of, obviously, as we put it out there for you guys to apply to, you know, join us in the follower fittings. And when we connected with Peter, he said, I'm actually a previous client. I still love my irons. I'd really love to do driver, and that's what we're going to look at today, Peter. But you don't have a particularly old driver, a similar kind of age, around that 2018-ish. I think the MAVRIK was in and around that. So, but you don't feel like the driver's been behaving quite as well for you?
At the end of a round of golf, when you put it in your mind and you're trying to analyze where I went right, where I went wrong, it's usually the driver that I feel either let me down or got me in trouble. I don't have a real problem with my irons. Putting, I can be hot or cold, but it's usually the driver. When I look back at my scores, it's because first of all, I don't hit it that far, but if it's wayward and I'm a fade slicer, that's where I get in trouble. And the next thing you know, either I'm 3 off the tee or I'm behind a tree or somewhere where I'm just taking a wasted shot just to put it back into the fairway. So I think the area for me that I could probably notice the greatest improvement would be with the driver.
Love that. Well, I think it's probably a familiar tale for many golfers.
Obviously, I'm assuming an off-the-rack purchase for this driver, not really fitted for
someone's trunk?
Yeah. That's even better. That's what we want to see. We want to see that off-the-rack not work for you.
Yeah, well, it's the comparison that we always preach about on the channel is you can go and buy off the rack, you can go and take your chance and buy into the latest technology, but when ultimately the latest technology isn't fit for you, you really are running the sort of gauntlet of whether it's actually going to work for you. And the likelihood is it's not. There's so many options in the marketplace now. Heads are so customizable. We really have to make sure that all of the things that we can do to that golf club are working in your favor. If you buy it off the shelf, you might tick 2 of 10 boxes rather than come in and work with a fitter and, you know, you tick all 10 boxes hopefully by the time we leave. So, all right, why don't we get you hit a couple of baseliners for us there, Peter?
Another thing I've noticed is virtually I hit my 3-wood as far as I hit my driver. But for some reason, I keep taking the driver out of the bag. But distance-wise, I've hit them both, one right after another, and the difference is negligible.
Is this looking pretty familiar to you? In terms of distance, I mean, we're kind of seeing some high spin rates there, Peter. We're seeing...
Look, the spin's awful.
Getting a little steep on it as well.
A little steeper across it. Certainly not maximising the speed you've got, turning that into distance. But everything that's a red flag up there is an opportunity that will kind of turn around here. So it's certainly good to see what you're clearly, you know, experiencing on the course.
I usually hit it a little bit further than that, but I struggle to get over 200 yards.
Yeah, but you can see certainly the better ones that you hit would be certainly up around there. But when, you know, your numbers are somewhat looking like a mid-iron in terms of the launch and spin. So the golf ball doesn't know whether it's been hit by a driver, doesn't know whether it's been hit by an iron. It just gets a set of impact sort of, you know, I guess parameters put on it in terms of speed and friction. We just need to completely change the strike point. I can hear, I mean, to be honest, I can hear how much it's in the heel. The quad's not even picking up where it's striking on the face based on it's kind of probably either on the dot, one of the dots, or outside the dots. So we need to turn that around for you as well. So we need to do a little bit of work on the driver. I'm actually going to talk to you a little bit, and we'll work in for a few swings a little bit on some of the things I think, small changes that you could even make in terms of the swing, Peter, just to kind of get you swinging a little bit more online. For faders, when you stand, especially in a bay, and you hit fade after fade, typically the path gets worse and worse and worse because you try and pull the ball back online and you make the adjustment. And we see something like what we've seen here, and it's like you only progressively actually get worse. The attack angle gets more steep, the path gets more out to in, and ultimately things get a little bit worse. Okay, so we're going to turn that around from a swing perspective, but with a club as well. Yeah. Okay, we'll grab you a couple of heads and shafts to kind of get going with, and then I'll come over and we'll talk some stuff with your swing, okay? All right, Peter, we're going to just start you off with a ping, nice and easy. I mean, obviously, anytime we're looking at driver forgiveness, trying to get confidence going, you kind of ping generally is the first stop we'll make in that. So the new 10K, I'm sure you've heard a little bit about it. Maximum forgiveness, phenomenal head. You'll see some increases in ball speed straight away. Then we'll start to dive into the kind of face-to-path relationship and that sort of stuff. Good.
The nice thing is just the change of the driver right away, the angle of attack is a lot more neutral. It's still a bit down, but going into that little heavier driver head cleans up attack a little bit. Thank you, Ping.
Okay, so kind of a first driver, really without making any change to anything else. We're picking up some little wins along the way here. We've picked up some yardage, ball speed, taking some spin off. So those are little wins that, you know, we're pretty happy with kind of moving in the right direction. I think what we want to try and get now is if we can start to look at this face-to-path relationship.
A little too far open.
Yeah, it's just wide open at the minute. So we want to try and just fix the sort of feeling in your swing a little bit for where that club is, Peter. So we want to try and give you some thoughts as to ways in which you can obviously try to get that face closing a little bit more. So I'm going to come right, take your setup for me. Okay, hold the club in place. I want to try and get the hands a little bit in a stronger position. So yeah, really feel like you're underneath, okay? We want you to feel like it's very easy for you to get that sort of closing rotation on the club face. If you put your hands in a sort of a weaker position, background there, from that position, you want to probably just return it back to square. There's no closing nature. If you have to close from that position, your whole body has to contort in order to do that. So hold it there again. So strengthen that grip. Keep going to the point where it feels way too much. Now, look at your hands, but also look at your left arm position. How it now sits under, okay? So you've completely changed your setup. So you're now a little bit more tilted with your shoulders. You're now a little bit more tucked with your left arm. That is going to really help with that rotation. So just make a couple of practice swings just there. Okay, good. Good, excellent. And I really want you to feel like with this left side that you feel that the closing of that club head. If you think of it as a race between the toe of the club and the heel, you really want to make sure that if this is the finish line, the toe gets there first. At the minute, the heel is getting there first. Okay, so as it comes in, the toe is still back here, the heel is ahead, we have an open face. You want to think about it as a race. You want that toe closing, okay? Let's try and get a couple of those. First couple is going to be just an adjustment. You feel free to go as far right as you want, okay? Love it. Honestly, I love that.
Great swing.
So immediately you have to feel what a drastic difference is in order to then make it. So if we look at the ball speed, the fastest we've seen so far, 120, 120, 9 miles an hour more ball speed because we were able to get that club face closing over now.
Like 3,000 less spin.
Way different. Now you're in the realm of what we want, and obviously it's a case of managing the club face to get that right loft, but everything about that was in the direction we want to go here. Really good job. And that just felt you done more, just an exaggerated release?
A totally different feel.
Good, good. Okay, let's work on that. Sounded
Closer,
more square, didn't it? Okay, better carry. Okay, and again, let's do a few more just like that. Really starting to see, actually seeing some extra speed in there as well, Peter, just with how you're releasing that.
Just the strike gets caught a little high. Well, he's actually up on it now.
Yeah.
Definitely get more out of it now.
Yeah.
That's your miss out to the left, and you still get way more carry than what we started with.
It's getting there.
Flatter flight out of the gates.
Yep. So what I want you to feel is I actually want you to kind of start to close your body off a little bit more. So bringing your left shoulder back a little bit. And when you take that club away, I want you to sort of feel like the club's in that position. Okay, so that arrow, use that Callaway arrow not to point over at the wall or over at Cody. You actually want it at the floor. Okay, and then when you release it, I want you feeling like it releases out to, if we split that screen in two by the center line, I want you to feel like the club points in the left half of the screen. If you point to the right half, you've come over the top, okay? So really feel like that face is down in the takeaway.
So hit to left field.
Yep.
I need that visual, the start line, it looks unreal. When it's trying to register spin.
Setup. So let's get those hands stronger, okay? And the left hand as well. So take the left hand off a second. Right hand a little stronger. There you go. Okay, now bring the left on. Good. Okay, so now you're in a strong position to release it. You've got your body set up better, okay, to be a little more, just more that way. Good. Now, one sort of interesting thing with the golf swing is our eyes play a big part of what the club does, our hands do. I want you to be very focused on the left side of the screen. See where that cross is? I only want you to really focus on that. You're delivering the golf club towards that, and you're going to rotate the face more. Okay, so you want to be very. That's going to help your into out or your out to in path become more towards an into out path. So take that first rehearsal backswing for me. Good, love that, excellent. Okay, and you can even feel from there like that club works around your body a little bit more. The more it works around, the less it's going to work down. Okay, the golf club is the golf swing is a combination between rotational movements and steep movements, and we do that on an angled plane. That's why it ends up somewhere between the two. So we're doing basically that with rotation, up and down motion with rotation. We need more around parts to your golf swing and less up and down parts, right? So if you feel that the club moves around your body more, that's a good thing. Okay, so a couple more rehearsals of that backswing. Good. Excellent. Club down more. Good. Good. Okay. Let's really feel like the eyes are out at the cross on the screen. Let's really release the club face from this one. Nice, Peter. Good job.
Better start line.
Good job. Excellent. So now the average is starting to look around 180 something.
I concentrated a little bit more
on the release.
On after the strike.
Okay.
A better strike there, Peter.
I moved my right foot forward a little bit there.
The moral of the story will always be, Peter, like what's the fitted club doing versus what you brought us. I mean, you know, even if you just look at that already, when you're now about 30 yards up in where you were when you came in. Ball speed is up 6 miles an hour. Spin is about half. So, you know, everything we've got going is moving in the right direction, which is just fantastic. Nice, Peter.
Yeah, better start line.
There we go.
Good swing.
That's the one.
Yeah, look how much better that face angle is. Still open, but it's good.
I guess we've got to take, you know, all these sort of signs of encouragement as to what feels so bad works so well, because that's the thing with swing changes. That's why we love data. We love the launch monitor, because it reinforces what we're doing is correct. And so for you to pick up close to 50 yards in carry there, you know, is massive. That's your original carry with yours was 153, and that there was 201. It's good. Just more release. What feels uncomfortable, you just need to stay there with it feeling uncomfortable. That face to path, the previous one was 6 degrees open, and then the second one was 11 degrees open, right? Your first swing was 93 miles an hour, then it dropped to 92. So in both cases, you kind of started to move back into what feels comfortable. That's what we always say, got to be uncomfortable. More, if you can, just try and get faster, not allow yourself to get slower. Release it more. Go right, never go left, okay? Really moving in the right direction here. I mean, that's without with no real flight or height on it, but look at the ball speed. 134, centered strike.
Face only open 3 degrees. Starting on the right side, it's good.
Big difference.
Definitely better.
It's a different head, different shaft combination. Trying to get, again, the feeling that you can release this one easily. Higher balance point shaft and a little bit more heel weight in the Ping SFT. So let's give this one a try. That's a better swing. We just missed the strike. Got it a little bit too heely. Love that strike.
Yeah, more centered.
Yeah, good. Really good strike, good ball speed. Okay, lift the club up. Okay, so what we're going to do is, yeah, we're going to take, just take your regular grip. Okay, good. And then loosen it off a little bit. And I'm going to turn the club to what would be 11 o'clock in the club face. Okay, take your grip there. Okay, now put the club down, and I want you to square, keep your hands on it, keep grip, nice tight grip. Now, put the club down in the square position, but feel the different setup. How does that feel different?
Well, it feels like I'm way further ahead.
Yeah, so you've almost got your right elbow pointing.
My right arm is dead straight.
Yep. So you've got it. Then, you know, in order to sort of get things back in natural order, if we stand still, you know, our elbows point somewhat behind us. They don't point towards the target. So if your right elbow is going to point in its natural position, it will induce some rotation, right? So we put the club, we offset our body position in order to create rotation, all right?
So try this?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We want to hit it from we call this 11 o'clock drill. So when so rather than just setting our hands in a stronger position, we're actually going to set it neutral and then
set the club.
Yeah. Good man. And that over time will start to sort of neutralize itself out. But if we can get the face closed now, I mean, we can start to then not have to worry about that peeling out to the left. Not bad. Just caught the heel strike. Better start line. And like, if you honestly walked out today and that one was what you left with, we'd be over the moon. Yeah. And you're up at sort of over 200 yards in total. The spin is under 3,000. I mean, and that's the worst of the four in that one there. So let's keep going.
Because a lot of times my miss is, and it probably has a lot to do with grip and steep, is I actually start the ball hard right.
Yeah.
And so if I'm in a tight fairway and there's trees down this side, I'm not liking it.
No.
If that side's open and that side's got the trees, I'm okay.
I know.
I can stay right. But if the trees are down the right side, I'm hitting those trees.
And that's where we're trying to kind of offset you a little bit by kind of closing the shoulders and bringing everything there and encouraging the face to rotate. You know, by aiming right, you give the face full license to stay open because you're offsetting the start line with alignment and you're basically going like that. Whereas we want you to come more from the inside and have more release on that left hand.
That low finish.
Yeah, that's it. Feel like that sort of left arm really overtakes on the way through, and I feel like you really release that.
Top spin,
That's
tennis
it.
shot.
That's
Top spin, tennis shot.
So you know, get even simple thing like having like a little table tennis, bat. Feel like you're just and you don't even want it coming from here. You want it coming from behind you. You literally feel like the club is behind you, and you're going that way with it. Lots of rotation. That's kind of what you want your golf swing to start to feel like. So even in rehearsals, the more you can rehearse, sort of feel like the club comes from behind you and has release to it, the better. So do that again. Up to the top and stop. Hold it there. That's the position. Okay, so club
Roll
face
that
wise.
wrist a little bit.
Just a little, just straighten out. It tends to get a little bit cupped. Okay, you want to just have it in that sort of position right there. Good. And then, okay, yep. And, make sure you feel like, again, you're going to stay back and hit up on it, okay? So when I saw you there, you were leaning into it too much that way. You're going to feel like you're in this nice setup position with the your left side, my right side being low, and you're going to feel like you release it that way. Okay.
No sway, just rotate around
Just
your
feel like
spine.
I mean, we've got the advantage of having that tee, so we want to feel like we can hit up on it a little bit. Not bad, not bad.
Not bad, low heel, good miss.
Okay, so I think part fitting, part lesson.
Yeah, and it happens not all the time, but our guys definitely are suited to know enough about the swing where we can, sometimes, Peter, you can go somewhere else for fitting and you're having a day where you're not striking at your best and they send you away. That happens too, but if we can fix a couple things to get, better numbers and ultimately see a progression of, marginal gains for a new driver for you, a lot of our fits, we always try to jump in the bay and try to help the customer out because it extends the fitting, but also, gives you that kind of excitement. You just said it a second ago. You're excited to get to a driving range and put them into play and work it into your game.
If we run through the numbers, Mikey, versus obviously the Maverick, I think by getting the face more square, we always knew we would get ball speed by that. We'd bring launch and spin down by obviously striking it with that square face. I think getting the strike into a more sort of centered part of the head was good. Dynamic loft down, face a little more closed.
It's good.
Closer to the path. So
and slowly trying to shallow out as well, which is better.
Yeah, all things in time. We actually had the face angle at different positions, and at times, Peter, we actually had the face set slightly open at times because I wanted you to sort of almost try to fight the golf club. So I'd open it and then I'd move it back to square. I actually didn't at any point have the face closed for you. I think for you to have the face closed will only cause you to come over the top. I want you to feel rotation within your golf swing. If the face is already preset there, I think you're stuck with the same swing that basically goes out to it and hangs on and that's always going to give you that weak fade. I want you to feel like you have to release it, like we talked about with that forehand in tennis. Same sort of feel. Okay, guys, I think this is hopefully, you know, a good one that talks to you a little bit about if you're in the bay and it's maybe not going your way. You know, we can work in some stuff.
100%.
We can get it going in the right direction. It's often good to give a swing tip or a couple of thoughts to the player that help marry up the driver fit with a little bit of a kind of, you know, little swing tweak.
It's not a lesson, but it's those little tweaks can, like I said, extend the fitting, and rather than end and go, listen, let's try again later.
Yeah.
You know, we can still try some new product, and you know, ultimately, you know, there's a gain there with the driver.
You know, it's sizable, certainly. I think compared to what we saw at the start. I mean, Peter was just saying there, he's comfortable hitting 7-iron 140, and we see driver flying 153. I mean, that's nowhere near as much as he should be getting. It was so good to see some of the really, really good ones start to fly out to sort of, you know, something like, you know, 200 yards.
Yeah.
If we look at that, we can get 201 carry, 221 total, spin under 3,000, high centered strike.
Yeah.
Ticking all those boxes. But yeah, we got to get the swing in harmony with the club as well. So, Peter, good job. Not easy in there, and when we're throwing so many things, I think it's hard enough trying new clubs. Never mind, okay, this is my grip and this is my swing, and I'm aiming a bit more left. And so, you know, kudos to you for putting all that together and making it work.
And I appreciate your patience and your advice. It was excellent. Like,
Good.
again, absolutely, a club off the rack is the wrong way to go. Like, look at all the adjustments you made and all the permutations and combinations you came up with. Just buying a club out of someone's trunk off the rack.
I know.
You're not doing yourself any favors.
No, we agree, and we hope you guys can hopefully take something from that. You know, in Peter's sort of experience buying one way and then being fitted another way, the difference right there is, you know, is up over 20%.
Yeah.
Or certainly in and around, you know, 15. So, you know, it's sizable, and we certainly think it should be for you guys as well. So, hope you enjoyed this. The follower fittings are a lot of fun because it's real life. It's Peter's in here for a fit. He's not in here to make a video. You know, we're filming a fitting taking place. That's the whole reason for it, so we can show you guys exactly what you're going to experience if it's you in the bay. So we hope to see some more followers come
100%.
in. You know, we're going to do this, as we said, as a monthly feature. We have the next couple of months lined up with some really fun fits that I think you guys will really enjoy. So stay tuned for that, and we'll see you again soon.